Hey YouTube, this is Frank with Thunder Pipes USA. This is basically a review of the XTool D1 laser engraver. It's the 10-watt version. They do make a 20-watt module and a 5-watt module if you ever need to go lower, but they do make a 20 if you need more power. The 10-watt does everything I need it to do. It's the most powerful laser I've ever used. I have had laser equipment in the past, and I gotta say that this thing is the cream of crop as far as what I've used. I can't say it's the best laser engraver out there. This is a diode laser. There are, CO2 lasers, there's fiber lasers, all kinds of really expensive stuff. But in my use, this is the most expensive laser I purchased. However, I'm finding a lot of uses for this that I never dreamed possible as far as the previous experience I have with lasers. So as a diode laser, this guy really rocks for what I need to do. Now I do make tobacco pipes, and this is a piece of equipment that I will use at times when I'm making tobacco pipes. And what this accomplishes is it allows me to laser engrave images or my maker's mark on the tobacco pipes. One of the great features of this unit here is how precise that laser beam is when it comes out. It is very, very small dot, and I'd never be able to do this on my old laser, but the lettering here, the handmade by, it's very, very small. It's smaller than pencil lead, and the A, the D, the A and the E over here, there's a little space. The openness of the A and the open area of the D and of the E, the tiniest spot on here is wide open. I mean, I can see the Briar. It's not burned out by the laser engraver. And I was not able to get this small with the lettering as I can with this XTool D1. So that's one of the great features of how precise that laser beam is. It also is a very, very tough frame. I mean, it's very sturdy. There are a lot of YouTube videos out there, and the manual that comes with this, if you are looking to buy one, does come with excellent instructions how to put it together. I didn't have to watch a video to do it. I just used the manual. But there are videos if you need to see something like that of how it's put together. But the frame on this is the sturdiest frame that I've ever come across on a diode laser. And that's one of the things I love about this machine. I did raise the unit up. You see back in the far corner, you can buy extra feet or legs, leg extensions for them. I bought 16 extensions. They come in 4 packs. And I raised it up 4 extra levels, I guess you'd say. I put 4 extensions on each leg. And that raised this high enough so that I could use my lab scissor jack so I can raise and lower, put different size items in here, and not have to, take off the legs every time. I don't have to take off the legs to raise and lower the frame, basically, to my object that I'm going to be engraving. I will raise the object up using the lab scissor jack. And using the legs the way I have now, the one thing I did find with this machine is that it wobbled. It's it is pretty sturdy. It's kind of heavy on the frame. And so anytime the laser module was doing its, jiggly thing, engraving on something, I could see my frame wobbling as well. And I was worried that I was going to have problems with getting a precise engraving. I didn't notice anything when I was doing my testing, except for it was moving. I didn't notice anything in the engraving itself, but to be on the safe side, being the way that I am, I added this frame around it. Some people would put this in a laser enclosure, but I didn't want to build something and just have this all boxed in. I like the openness. I want to, do work and perform maintenance and everything with the unit, in its open state. And so what I did was I'm pointing to it back there. There's a 2x4, sorry, that I screwed to the studs in the wall. And I built a frame. Basically, it's right there, and it wraps around behind it and comes back about the same distance on the other side, which is basically a U. And I mounted that frame to that 2x4 I mounted to the wall, and I made it as tight of tolerance as possible. So basically this is press fit into that frame, and so there's nothing mounting the wood directly to this. And so that supports it on this side, the opposite side, and because it's such a tight tolerance, it also supports it towards and away from the wall. And so this made it sturdy as heck. And so now, you know, I can engrave fast where this module is just zipping around, and I don't have any movement from my frame. So one of the features, or one of the upgrades that I did myself, you know, just scrap wood. The other thing to mention with this is that the braided cable that came with the machine, for some reason it was frayed back in this area here, and where my fingertip is, and it just looked like a bristle brush, you know, just nylon threads just every which way, and I didn't like the way it looked. So just purely for aesthetics, I contacted them and said, you know, hey, what's up with this? And so they said they were going to send me a new braided cable. The cable that comes with this is black, and as you can see here, I put my own cable on. The reason for that is, instead of sending me the braided cable, Support sent me a new cable that goes from the laser module to the motherboard that's inside this sheath. And that's not what I needed. In any case, I bought my own braided cable, and so since I was putting that on myself, I bought it in a color I like and added that to the machine. The other thing is, that's worth mentioning, is there is a clip back here. I'm going to try to zoom into that. Sorry for the camera moving. So there is a clip right here. The top of this fan shroud, or fan cover, a fan grate, wraps around, and there's a little slit here for this braided cable to fit in. This is pretty sharp. And if your braided cable, as you can see, the end of mine is right here. If your braided cable moves up, then that will cut your wiring harness that goes to the laser module. And so I added this silicone tubing to keep a nice tight fit, and if the braided cable works itself up, I have wire against this plastic, or this silicone, and so as the laser module is moving, it won't, you know, cut my wire, which has been happening a lot, I've seen. So the problem is, though, that for some reason my connector down here on the back of this module, where it plugs in, the wires, I had wires break there. Luckily, they had sent me a new cable, but the cable they sent was worn away. The sheathing was worn away from the wires. It was still usable. I could still use it, but I could see the wiring, and I just knew that wasn't going to last. And in order to make this video, and while I'm waiting for Support to send me another cable, I basically made my own cable, which is not hard to do. There are connectors, special connectors you have to buy, you know, the wire you have to buy, and then put it together to get it to work. So I did use my own cable. I upgraded the cable, and I upgraded the cable sheath. The other thing I did was I added this lever here. This comes with a little knob. It is pretty grippy, but it's super close to this X-axis rail, or I don't know if they call it the Y-axis. In any case, the rail that the laser module is attached to, and that knob was so close, my fingers are big, I could barely loosen it. And this is the method that you use to raise and lower the laser module if you're using this method here to focus the laser beam. And the way that works on this machine is the laser module has a foot that drops down, and that foot is the height adjustment. You bring it down to that foot, and then you lock down this screw, and then you flip the foot back up, and your laser is now focused on your work. Because I am using the scissor jack, I don't need to do that. I can bring my work up to the laser. Still using the adjustment lever on the side to measure the distance. But I can bring any work up to the laser. I don't have to bring the laser up and down. So I'm not actually using this right now. But I did upgrade that so that I could, if I needed to in the future, use this to go up or down. The other thing I added was these feet down here. I thought that would help stabilize. These are 3D printed feet, and that is a 3D printed lever. I will add links to both of those if somebody wants them, where I got them from Etsy. But those 3D printed feet fit around these leg extensions perfectly, and then you can screw them down to the table. I thought that would stabilize the machine, but obviously this is heavier, and the higher it is, the more it's going to wobble. So I built a frame to fix that. All right, so some of the attachments that help me do the work that I do in the tobacco pipes, I needed a way to be able to wrap my engraving around a circumference or a radius. And so in order to do that, previously, I would just set up my laser, the laser I had before this, and I would focus it on the lowest point of the image, and then I would laser it. And what that would do is make sure that my edges had a burn, had a mark, but the center, it would eat away more than I wanted. It'd still do a pretty good job, and really not noticeable, you know, to anyone out there. But me being the guy doing it, I would know what's going on. And I didn't like that. So I needed a way to be able to keep the laser and the circumference the same, the distance the same. And so what XTool did was they created what they're calling the world's first 4-in-1 rotary attachment. And that's it right there. It's called the RA2 Pro. This guy here, I have the chuck attached right now, and I have these legs. I think they said these are good for rings or anything you need to grip on the outside, like a baseball. You could grip this. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust it. You open it up and you just put a golf ball, it'll center it here. And there's attachments that come with this RA2 Pro. This, you know, you'd use this with a golf ball or with a baseball, just on the other side, supporting the other side of the ball here in this area. Sorry. So that's kind of a cool, you know, accessory for that RA2. It also comes with this leveler. This guy here, you raise and lower this, and if you have something that's super long that's attached here to the chuck, this will support the other side and keep it level so that everything stays in line with the laser. Because it is a chuck, like my lathe, it does come with a full range of accessories. These are long jaws that screw onto that chuck. If I can get it out of here. So you can grab, and these are the short jaws up here above it. So you screw those into these jaw slides instead of these, and you can grab stuff from the outside, or you can, you know, if it fits on the inside, you can apply pressure from the inside out to grab your object, and then this guy will spin it in place, and your module, all it has to travel is the up and down, and this takes care of the side to side, keeping that distance, that focal distance, perfect for you all the way around. That allows me to put a bigger image on the tobacco pipes, because if I tried to put an image way over here, by the time the laser was at this point here, that wrapped from here to here, it would engrave okay, but here, and even though the laser beam was headed straight down and this is angled, I still could get potentially good engravings on the side. But by the time I got to the middle, the laser beam would be way out of focus and it may not engrave if I had a bigger image. So I'd have to shrink the image up, and it'd just be a small, maybe an inch in width. And with the RA2 Pro, I'm able to, I mean, sky's the limit now. I could go all the way until this is going to hit my laser module and wraps an image around a tobacco pipe. And that's a game changer for me. So the RA2 Pro, many options. Comes with rollers, so you can do like tumblers and glasses and stuff, and they sit on this bed back here that I'm kind of pointing at over there. It comes with this chuck attachment, all the accessories for leveling and holding stuff, all the jaws, all that in one box, in one package. And definitely a game changer for how I use things. It helped me laser engrave this pipe beautifully, even though the image was way bigger than I normally put it. I think I put this image, it was an inch and 3/4, 1.75 inches in width, and I normally am limited to 1 inch. So definitely a game changer. I also added the air assist from XTool. That's this unit back here. The air assist, anybody that's into laser engraving knows air assist does help, especially when cutting. It clears away the smoke and char, and helps your laser beam stay focused on what it's supposed to be doing, instead of char and smoke and stuff getting in the way, preventing it from cutting all the way through something or from engraving properly. There are those that say that, you know, it's not useful for laser engraving. I haven't been doing any cutting with the machine, just engraving. But I do have a test here that I ran. So with my old laser engraver, when I engraved the pipe, I'd have to clean off, you know, whatever I engraved. And it's just an extra step. You can sometimes you can wipe it off, sometimes you have to sand it off, which would change the surface of the pipe and the dynamics between the smooth and say the engraved. Here I did this test. There's 2 circles. This is with air assist off on this machine, and you can see the scorch marks around it. That's actually like smoke residue around it. I can clean that up with sandpaper or with kind of a damp towel. I can wipe it away. But here you see the circle with air assist. There's none of that. So it's just a step I don't have to take. I don't have to do this extra step of cleaning this up and possibly changing how this looks. This claw is a great example. So this deeper engrave here in this black area where it's tearing through was engraved at a stronger setting than the lines. And as you can, if I can keep it in focus, the white space in the teared out areas, there's no char in there. There's nothing to clean up. It's the same color as everything on the outside. So the air assist, definitely a game changer as well. And very useful for engraving for me, especially on this briar wood. Now I make the tobacco pipes out of this briar wood, which is from the Mediterranean. This one came from Italy. And I take this block and I do my magic to it in my shop, and I turn it into a tobacco pipe. This briar wood it's kind of dense, but it's heat resistant. That's why it's perfect media for tobacco pipes. But I do have to use a higher power. I do use light burn to run this instead of the default software that comes with it. I believe it's called LaserBox Basic. It is a good software. I did play with it a little bit, but it doesn't have as many features as Lightburn does. And I'm used to using Lightburn, so luckily this machine and Lightburn are compatible with each other. And in my settings for laser engraving on Briar, I have to do 30% power to get a good and deeper engraving than what I need. Or, I'm sorry, than just doing the surface, because I don't want it to wear away. I want it to be in there and in there for good, especially when I'm doing my maker's mark. I don't want that to disappear and wear down. So using that higher power allows me to get a deeper engrave than just a surface engrave. And in doing so, that can create a lot of smoke and soot. So the air assist helps me with the briar wood. There's probably other wood media out there that the air assist probably wouldn't do much, if anything at all. But with Briar, it works great. So for me, the air assisted is a bonus. The only thing I modified to that is I added this valve here so that I could turn up and turn down the amount of airflow to something in case I needed to. So far, I've had it wide open and I haven't needed to, so I may just end up taking that off. But it's there in case I need to adjust the airflow. All right, so that's pretty much it. I love the XTool support. They did, have a couple issues sending me the right cable, or not sending me the braided cable, but sending me the wrong cable, but they're sending me something. Talking to them has been, they are in China, so we're in the US, we're awake here, they're asleep. We send a message while we're awake. When something's happening, we got to wait till they wake up, go to work, and read the message. Then they respond while we're asleep. So it may take a day to get a response. It may take a few days to get to the end result of what needs to happen because of some back and forth, pictures here, speaking, clarifying things there. But so far they have taken care of me. It has taken a few days, but they have taken care of me to an okay extent. And the only reason I say that is because they sent me the wrong thing. Ultimately, I do recommend the XTool. Their customer support at least is out there and listening. Their Facebook group, the XTool official, the XTool D1 official Facebook group, regularly has the XTool support or somebody from XTool commenting on people's posts and stuff. So, they are watching what's happening out there and commenting on it. And I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to bring up about this. Get yourself some levels, get yourself some 1, 2, 3 blocks if you don't have any. If you do have a scissor jack, or do grab a scissor jack, because it does help level the table. The scissor jack, I don't even remember if I mentioned this. I don't think I did. But the scissor jack, I haven't found one yet that doesn't do this. And so there's the jack underneath. And so I have these levels here so that I can level the table. I have the 1, 2, 3 blocks I use to balance the table in case I have the rotary on this side and it's heavy and it's pushing down and a pipe on it and stuff. Then it's hard to keep it level. So I use the 1, 2, 3 blocks to adjust the level. A little bit of an extra, I'm used to using it, so it doesn't bug me. It may bug somebody else, but I like the ability to be able to bring something up and down from the laser beam, and I have all this room to play with from where it is now, actually higher. If I loosen the knob and raise this to its uppermost position, I'd have that distance down to the tabletop to be able to engrave something. And that's why I like the scissor jack. Instead of taking the legs on and off and moving the frame up and down, I can move the product up and down to the laser module. So definitely a bonus for me. I don't mind the extra work I need to do to level the table, but other than that, that is everything I wanted to talk about. I do appreciate your time. I am going to add a video to this video. I'm going to add the clip of this pipe being engraved on with the rotary so you can see how it works. It will be normal speed so you can see how, what it would take, and then I'll speed it up so you don't have to sit there through the whole process. And when this pipe is complete and I've got it polished, I've got the stem on it, I'll add pictures of that to the end of this as well, which should happen relatively soon. This pipe is done except for polishing now. So thank you very much for watching. Hope I showed you something that you didn't know, but regardless, if you do have questions, feel free to ask me, and I have no problem answering. And have a great day. Thanks for watching. Like if you like, subscribe if you want. I do plan on making extra videos in the future. This is the first video of this channel. I just started it, and I've been wanting to do some how-tos showing the equipment that I use when I do make tobacco pipes. And I plan on doing those in the future, but for now, this is the video. This is the only one, the first one, and I'm ecstatic about the XTool. If you have any thoughts about getting a laser engraver, highly recommended for me. I have had a few in the past. As a diode laser, I like it. All right, so here's Lightburn open now with my image on the screen. I'm going to be sending to the laser engraver. My speed and power are set at 1500 millimeters per minute speed and 30% laser power. I do have the image rotated 90 degrees clockwise to orient it correctly to the position I have the tobacco pipe, so that it burns the image properly in the correct orientation anyway. The XTool D1 does have crosshairs on it to help you get close to where you want it to engrave. I do use them. I have calibrated them using Lightburn to be almost exactly where the laser beam's going to be, and I find more often than not that it does a really good job. So I am leveling the rechecking level on the tobacco pipe to make sure nothing's moved. You'll see me frame the area. I'm going to first do a box frame here, and that's just to make sure that I'm in the general area I want to be in. I also will do the actual image framing you're seeing here now, and that just fine-tunes that original framing to make sure I'm where I want to be. After that, I'll go ahead and start the laser process. It's going to start engraving, and I just wanted to mention that the RA2 Pro, as you see it turning here, it's basically handling the y-axis, and the laser module is traveling along the x-axis. So you see it jogging back and forth on that rotary, and that's what keeps the highest point of the tobacco pipe that I have already set the focal distance using that lever that I showed previously, exactly the same from top to bottom of the pipe, so that focal distance doesn't change. So that allows you to get a very precise laser engraving. On wood, that's especially helpful because you don't end up with like shallow spots or faded spots or too deep of spots. This just keeps everything uniform, and the laser engraving will just come out beautiful in the end. This rotary attachment, I love it. There are other chuck type rotary attachments out there, but this one is the only one that I've seen that comes with all the attachments it does to help you do basically anything you want to do that's round in circumference, like glasses or tumblers, bats, these tobacco pipes, for example, something that I never would have thought I'd be able to do on a rotary. This one right here has the right attachment for it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and just let this thing go. I'll probably speed this up a little bit. And I did want to also mention that although XTool isn't paying me to say these things about them, they did offer me an affiliate, or accept me into their affiliate program. So as an affiliate, I do have my own links that I am going to add to the bucket. And if you are thinking of getting an XTool D1 or the rotary attachment, which will work on other laser engravers out there, they come with extra pigtails to be able to plug them into almost any laser out there, or the Air Assist from XTool. If you're looking for any of those, if you click my link, it won't cost you anymore. They're not upping the price on you, but XTool will kick me back a little bit if you use my link. So that would be appreciated. I'll also add links to the feet that I purchased, the 3D printed feet, and also the focus lever that I added as well down in the bucket. We're coming up on the end of the engraving here. It took right around 8 minutes to complete this engraving on the tobacco pipe. Ultimately, the XTool D1 and the RA2 Pro rotary attachment did an awesome job. I couldn't be happier with the results. Great detail and no cleanup with the Air Assist. That does it for the video. I appreciate your time watching and you have a wonderful day. Thanks.